frozen up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. You came into my life and started a fire.
Today's video is going to be a declutter with me. It's always my most popular video. It is getting closer to Christmas, so what I like to do before that time of year comes around is declutter our playroom, so that's where we're gonna start. We also have a terrible system for all of our craft supplies right now, so I'm gonna see if I can find something that is gonna make it a lot more functional. So let's get started. Okay, so here's a quick overview of our playroom, everything we're working with. We have a whole like kitchen kind of area going on over here. And anyway, we have like dress up clothes, this big ottoman here we're actually talking about selling pretty soon. We have this table and basically all the cubbies where I keep a lot of their toys. This closet is where I put their toys that are out of rotation. So we do have a toy rotation system in place right now. These bins are all the ones we are going to be organizing because they're just an absolute wreck, as you can see right there. So definitely need to go through this whole shelf as well. Okay, the first thing I do before decluttering the playroom is always put everything back exactly where it belongs, and then I go through like all the areas after. This playroom used to be a complete disaster before I decluttered it the first time around. So if you have not seen my original decluttering series, I will make sure it is linked in the description. I did our entire house. I went room by room, decluttered everywhere, everything. Nothing was left untouched. So even though I went through this entire playroom recently, cannot wait for you guys to see how many toys I still end up getting rid of or donating so that other kids can play with them instead. My kids are 3 and 1, so they haven't quite gotten to the age where they can understand exactly what decluttering is. From what I've heard, around 6 or 7 is a really good age to start explaining it to them. So I like to just pay really close attention to what my kids are playing with, what they aren't playing with, and even when I take a toy out of rotation and they still don't play with it, it is definitely time to donate that toy. It's not serving any more purpose in their room other than just cluttering their space, and it makes it so much harder for them to just be at peace in their playroom and actually play. So I don't know about you, but if I'm in a messy room, I cannot function. Like my brain just cannot focus. So before I start decluttering, I had chosen it to just put all their toys away where I would have normally put them, making sure that each toy is grouped together, like all the pieces are back together and I have everything where it belongs. Cleaning their playroom has been so much easier after decluttering it the first time around, and I also put the toy rotation system in place when I decluttered it the first time as well, and that has really cut down on the amount of time it takes for me to clean up their playroom. I think a toy rotation system is pretty popular right now, but just in case you don't know what that is, the closet on the right is where all their toys that are out of rotation, so they are not able to open those cabinets without me. All those toys are put away, and all the toys that are out are the ones that they can play with. And whenever I notice them not playing with a certain toy anymore, I will put it into that closet and take out a newer one. So the new toy that has been locked away in the cabinet is like this brand new shiny object that they just love playing with again. And then the toys that they weren't playing with are kept in the closet until they basically forget about them again, and then I can pull them back out, and then it's like having a brand new toy again. Out of anything I've ever done in our house when it came to decluttering and organizing, putting that toy rotation system in place has made the biggest difference. It's like something I wish I could like go back in time and tell myself to just do it and get it done, so that you end up having so much more time because you're not picking up as many toys, you're not spending as much time cleaning up all those toys, especially around the house because they get dragged everywhere. So anyway, I am almost done picking up this playroom. All our toys are put away, grouped back together, and after I clean up this small little kitchen area, we will go right into that decluttering. Okay, so everything is where it belongs in their playroom. I'm gonna go through kind of systematically around the playroom like this way. So I'm starting here on the couch, and my kids don't play with these anymore, so they will go to somebody else that will, and my kids still love blue. I literally will touch everything. I will make sure my eyes are placed on every single item in this room. Those blankets, I've thought about getting rid of some of those, but my kids really love making forts, so we are keeping the blankets. The acronym KISS has been my absolute favorite mantra basically for my life, and it stands for keep it super simple. I used that over and over again with my decluttering series when I was going through our entire house. So to keep it as simple as possible, we either use something or we don't, and if we don't use it, it's getting out of our house. So that's what I'm doing here. If we are using something in this playroom, I'll keep it. If we are not using it, it is getting out of here. So we're in the process of possibly getting a new couch. That way that can be the new location that if somebody stays over at our house, they can sleep on the couch. Right now our couch isn't quite functional for that. So anyway, this futon is where someone sleeps at our house if they stay over, which isn't very often, but it does take up a lot of space in this playroom. So we really want to sell it and get rid of it. But I do end up moving it to a better position in this playroom for now, later in this video. So I am happy with that. So everything in the blue bins and up, I'm going to be organizing later in this video. And guys, I don't want to give it away, but it is so satisfying. So right now I'm just going through all of the cubbies here and looking for anything that I know my kids don't play with anymore. And then I'm taking those toys and putting them into a donation pile. So I pay really close attention to my kids' favorite toys. I know exactly what toys that they are not gonna miss. They're just too young to understand getting rid of toys and donating them. So I'm doing it while they are napping, but it's definitely something you need to be super careful with. Especially older kids, I definitely think this is something that they need to learn and do together. Otherwise, I think it can be pretty traumatizing to get rid of some of their toys, especially if you don't realize it's something that they really love. So I don't have older kids yet. I want them to stay little forever. They're 3 and 1. But if you have older kids and you have had success with decluttering, definitely leave a comment with any tips and tricks, because I know I'm going to need them in the future, but there are also so many other people that could definitely go down there in the comments that are watching this video and check out your tips and tricks. It's going to be so helpful. So definitely do not leave those wins to yourself. So for smaller toys in their toy rotation cabinet here, I have this 3-drawer storage bin, and it's actually been working out super well. One drawer has their puzzles in it, another drawer has just miscellaneous things, and then the bottom drawer here is actually small enough toys that I can usually bring in the car or to a restaurant. This system has definitely been working for us, so I really hope I'm sharing some good ideas for anybody that really needs it. So now that I have everything laid out here on the couch, it's just so much easier to see what we have so that I can decide what we are keeping and what it is time to donate. I really love having this designated cabinet for my kids' toys because it really helps me limit how many toys that they actually have. If it's not all fitting in this cabinet, then it's time to donate some things. It helps me know my limits for when I need to start decluttering. Sometimes I have no idea how so many toys make it into our home, but they do. We are so grateful for my kids' grandparents and all of our family and friends, but toys are definitely something that need to be decluttered on a regular basis. They outgrow them so quickly sometimes, and that's okay because I love that we have the option to donate them and then another kid can play with them too.
Keep moving like the river goes, baby, going down, 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 down. Yeah. And I thought it's time I'm letting you go.
So this is what I have left for the rotation cabinet. I do still need to go through all of this, definitely, But so far, this is a pile of toys that we're getting rid of. We still need to go through like all of this. It's so nice having these cabinets cleaned out, but I'm gonna work on some of the other areas that aren't really gonna take as long. So next up, I have our like dress up clothes. I think out of all the toys in our playroom, dress up has definitely been my kids' #1 favorite to play with. So there are some in here that are too small for them, or like they just never dress up in. So I'm donating those ones. We are still using the KISS method. Keep it super simple. If they are using it, we'll keep it. But if they do not use it, it is time to donate it.
And I thought, it's time I'm letting you go. This time I know it for sure.
So before, I didn't have enough hangers for all their dress up clothes. So now that I donated, I think maybe 6 or 7 dress up outfits, I have room for all of their clothes on this hanger.
I was gonna stay in the fight with you, just thinking we would do this until we couldn't do it. Each and every high, every night with you, you and me so clueless. We were just broken, shattered, singing along to nothing matters, stray around like nighttime.
So this cart was actually my diaper cart for Cecilia 4 years ago now, and I used it for Owen as a diaper cart as well, and now I don't have any like need for it as a diaper cart, so I made it into just like a holder for all of their like dress up accessories for their playroom in here. So on the top I decided to put all their hats, and then everything else has just been like a jumbled mess, so I'm just going through it, getting rid of things that they don't play with, and just making it so much more functional. Cart is 10 times more functional. There's not a ton of things just jam-packed in here anymore. So I have like all their head pieces on the top and then just some accessories down here on the bottom, but so much more functional. It's not going to get thrown everywhere anymore. Here is our donation pile so far. This rug is also going to get donated. It was just getting in the way. My kids were tripping on it. It just was not functional. So it actually came from my closet and I thought it might work in here, but no, it's time to donate. So now I'm going through all of their play food. These are the ones you can kind of cut in half. It's like with the Velcro on it. So I'm just putting all the Velcro pieces back together, making sure I have all the pieces for them, because if anything is missing and I don't have the other half of it, or something is broken, it is time to get rid of those pieces. We are still going to go through all of their crafts, declutter them, organize them, but this is the pile of toys that is getting donated. If you are ever on the fence of donating something, I definitely recommend just trying to maybe put it at the top of a closet or maybe in the trunk of your car into a donation pile. And then if you don't take it out or you don't use it within a certain time frame, like maybe you could give yourself a week or two, then if you have not thought about it, your kids have not said anything about it, then it is definitely time to donate those items. But really just keep it super simple. If you are using it, then keep it. If you are not, it's time to get rid of it. I love rearranging spaces. I used to do it all the time as a teenager. I would stay up all night just rearranging my bedroom. I've always thought it's so much fun and just so refreshing to move things around in a space. I definitely don't do it as often as I used to, but I definitely had a lot of fun doing it right now in the playroom. I was just moving this futon around, trying to get a better feel for a better spot for it. So I ended up bringing it all the way over here on the left. And now I have like so much more room over here for like their designated play area. But moving furniture and things around in a room can definitely be like the easiest way to freshen up a space. So here's our new setup. I think it's actually going to function a little bit better, but most of all, I think Cecilia and Owen are just going to be excited because it's different in this room. So I basically have like this entire area as like all their play stuff, and then I just moved the futon over here, although we are definitely thinking about getting rid of this futon because we don't really even use it anymore. So now it is time to go through all of these bins and everything up here on this shelf. We are on day 2 now. I like to make things as easy as possible, and breaking them up between 2 days sometimes makes it so much easier. Now we're gonna go through all the craft supplies. They are a jumbled mess. These bins are so heavy, it's so hard to get them in and out and just get what I need out of them. So I'm gonna see if I can make them way more functional. So these bins did do a good job of keeping everything together, but it was just a jumbled mess. I couldn't get to anything that I needed. They were also super heavy, so I just didn't like taking them out either. So this is what I was storing all of their like coloring stuff in. So I have like all their coloring books in here, and everything just gets piled on top of itself. This is all like craft supplies, and I do have things kind of separated in baggies, but it feels like a mess. This is also just like an activity bin, so there's some things to paint, a bunch of beads, and different things. So we're gonna go through all of this, and last but not least, we have their little Play-Doh bin. So I got these from Walmart, got 3 of them. They are stackable, which is super nice, but I don't think I'll be stacking them. They have all these little drawers that I think are gonna make organizing all this craft supplies so much better. I have a couple sizes, but this is the 13.5 by 11 by 9 5/8. I had brainstormed so many different ways to organize this space. I looked through Pinterest and just tried to research and brainstorm the best way to organize all of this craft supplies. I also wanted it to be on a budget, and these were definitely budget friendly. So I am starting by just taking absolutely everything out of the coloring box. So at least I have everything kind of grouped together already that made this process so much easier. But I really wanted to make it easier for me to grab out a quick coloring book and maybe just the crayons instead of having to dig through this entire box. I also ended up organizing the coloring books too. So we have some that are like learning, like school books that are kind of like coloring books. And then we have just like regular old coloring books. So those are now organized separately as well. So that makes it so much easier for me to pull out a learning activity versus just like a coloring activity. I just spent a lot of time trying to organize into categories to make it so much easier for me to find what I needed. But if I fall, I will get up again. So these drawers are really nice because I can put one specific category into each of the drawers, and everything is separated. I don't have to dig to get to what I need. It's all right there, literally at my fingertips. Crafts are, I think, one of the hardest things to organize. I'm a very crafty person. I've always been. So I've always had a lot of crafts. I've always had a craft bin or a container, something in keeping my crafts all together, and I've spent a lot of time organizing it. But now Cecilia is 3 and really getting into the crafts now. So I knew it was time for me to figure out a better system for her craft supplies, and this is definitely it. So I had not realized this, but craft paper is slightly bigger than regular plain white printer paper. So it did not fit into these bins very well, so I ended up doing something different with it in a little bit that I'll share with you. But anyway, these white bins are on an end cap at Target, and they will be your best friend if you are organizing your craft supplies. I've used them for my own personal craft supplies. The crafts I'm organizing right now are just Owen and Cecilia's. I did not end up actually using these for the popsicle sticks. I thought it was just easier to just leave them in the bin anyway, but I do end up using them to separate like scissors and paintbrushes and different things like that. These storage bins definitely made it so easy to organize all of this craft supplies. I'm working on just getting all my categories in separate drawers. The drawers are nice because they come out, so if they end up wanting to move them to a different like drawer section, I can. It's super easy. But when it comes to organizing craft supplies, it's just trying to find a system that works for you. And gosh, I searched through so many different ways to organize pipe cleaners, and this was the best I got. So it's not, it's not going to be Pinterest worthy. It's not going to be pretty sometimes, especially when it comes to craft supplies, but it's just finding something that works.
Keep on doing what you do, doing what you do. Just keep on doing what you do, doing what you do, doing what you do, what you do, doing what you do. Do what you like to, what you like to do, what you like to, what you like to, what you like to do.
I quickly realized I'm gonna need 2 more bins. So I ran to Walmart, got 2 more bins, and I got this tray, which looks super functional. So I'm actually gonna be using this for the paper on top, and I'll show you that in a second. I love when things have a designated spot. So I really love this, that it like holds all the craft paper together since it didn't fit inside one of these drawers. This is super nice too because it has different pieces that can sit on top to help you organize in different ways. So it is definitely one of my favorite additions to this playroom. And I'm gonna continue organizing each of these drawers with different categories. So this one right now is paints. I'm also making sure to keep all the painting stuff together. So the paints are on top, my paintbrushes are in the middle, and I'm gonna share all my categories with you at the end with how I ended up putting everything together.
Something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk.
Okay, if you are like me and cannot stand seeing all of these beads just jumbled together and you want to see them all separately, color matched and categorized, organized, then you are welcome. I spent like 20 or 30 minutes just organizing all the colors of these beads. I might be crazy, but this is totally worth it in my opinion. I'm working on my last drawers here, so I decided to actually put markers in one drawer. I put pencils in another one and crayons in the last one. These drawers can come out, so I thought this was going to be so much more functional than those flimsy little like pencil cases that I was using already. Those little pencil cases also didn't hold our markers very well, so all of our markers fit into one little drawer now, and it's just going to be so much more functional for us. I'm going to be putting a final touch on these little drawers near the end of this video, but first I just wanted to go through this top shelf really quickly. I'm going to be like getting rid of or donating anything that my kids aren't using, and I'm actually going to be organizing it in a way that's a little bit more visually pleasing. So I'm putting the taller items closer to the cabinets, and then I'm going to bring them like taller to smaller, and that's just going to make this shelf look way more put together. So on the right here, I was utilizing it was like a pot organizing rack. I didn't actually end up using the organizing rack in our kitchen, but it works perfectly for just easily organizing some of their like little like workbooks and dry erase board books. It's been working very well on this shelf. So if you needed an idea for that, that's what I'm using right there. And it's definitely worked very well for us. So this basket here in the middle actually just has our router in it. It's where the plug in the wall is for our internet. So that basket has to stay. It at least makes it look a little bit better than the router being there. But anyway, Ended up getting rid of some things here and just organizing it in a way where the taller things are next to the cabinets and then they get shorter as they come in. Really just helped make that space look a lot nicer. So now that I have those blue bins completely empty, because that's what all the craft supplies were in before, they are very sturdy and they're super nice containers. I actually got them off of Amazon. So I still wanted to use them, and I'm going to trade them out with what I had been using for their mega blocks here on the top and all the Duplos, all those, like building block materials. So I'm keeping these sturdier blue bins and getting rid of the flimsier white ones. So from this area, everything that I'm getting rid of is right over here. Okay, now we are going to be putting the cherry on top of this whole organizing area. This is my favorite label maker. I'll make sure it's linked in the description, but we are going to label each of these little drawers, and it's going to make putting away and getting things out of these drawers so much easier. So I wanted to make sure you had a good view of how I decided to organize everything here. So you can see I have all the drawing stuff together. I have all the coloring books together with the activity books and the notepads. They are just in separate drawers, so it's going to make it so much easier to find exactly what I'm looking for. Everything has its designated spot, and that's what I love when I'm organizing a space. It also makes cleaning up and putting things away so much easier. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I make a new video every single Sunday, and I will see you all right here next week in a brand new video. Bye!